Hi, my name is Julen. I'm from Bilbao and a member of the Bilbao Black Cats. I started following Sunderland in 2010 when I was 15 years old, and my favorite player, Asamoah Gyan, signed for the club. How about the lads?
Hume prepares to take this free kick for Sunderland. Sunderland 2 goals down. Hume. Ball. It's a good header. Sunderland are back in this. Dan Ballard scores from a set piece. Dan Neil. Still going Dan Neil. Fancies one. Oh, yes! What a finish! Strike. Good ball from Ballard to find Trey Hume, who moves it on to Patrick Roberts. He's Rigg. Ball's across. He's in. It's Job! It's 3-2!
There we go!
Hello and welcome to Black Cats Chat, the Sunderland AFC International Fans Podcast. My name is Lee Thirkell. I'm from the Bilbao Black Cats, and today I'm joined by fellow Sunderland fan in Barcelona, Paul Clark, for his second visit. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Lee. Thanks for having me back.
Lovely, mate. This time you got a win to cover. The last time we had a loss against Watford, right? And for the first time, we've got SAFC NASA member. We've got Sean Coxon, who's in New Jersey. Good afternoon or good morning, Sean.
Yeah, it's good morning. How are you, boys? Thanks for...
Yeah, no worries, mate. Brilliant. Right, so yesterday we came back incredibly 3-2 against Swansea after being down 2-0 after 16 minutes. The lads finished off a great week. We got 7 points from 9. We're going to get into that soon. But Sean, it's your first time on the pod, so we'd love to hear your Sunderland story, mate.
Well, grew up in Gateshead in a place called Dunstan, which is predominantly black and white. And my dad was like, listen, he says, we're not sheep. We don't follow the pack. He says his uncle used to take him to Roker Park as a kid. So when we were kid, I just used to go to Roker Park. I grew up on like everyone does, like you boys will know, you start off in the Roker end and then you're dying to get in the Fulwell and then you graduate and you get in the Fulwell end, you know. So that was growing up really, you know, the early 90s and stuff, going to Roker, you know. And my best memory probably I was 12, 1996. It's funny really, we're only had talking about a 3-2 comeback. My first game I really remember was 3-2 at Roker Park when we beat Huddersfield, when Bridges come on and scored 2.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you boys will know it. So and that season we won the league as well. So I've got good memories of that, you know, and just being different and not. It was tough at school. I was fighting all the time because most of the school were black and white, you know, and they had a decent enough side in the 90s as well. So it was tough, like, you know, being Sunderland. But hey, listen, it's what we do, isn't it, boys? You know?
You didn't turn to the dark side, did you not?
Nah.
Right, and how long have you been living in New Jersey? Because that's where you are now, isn't it?
I am, yes. I've been out here for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I came out here. I run a football coaching business.
Mm-hmm.
So I came out here 13 years ago. I was originally meant to come for 9 months, and then I ended up having a family and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been here 13 years, and I get back every so often. Like I went to 3 games last season.
Wow.
I've been across, like every time I come across, the wife goes mad because we'll come across for like 3 weeks and I just end up going home and away with the boys and stuff. And it's just like, we're meant to be seeing things and you're going to match. And I'm like, listen, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
I don't get to see them much. So, yeah.
Well, on the flip side of that, mate, you can just say to the missus, well, you're getting to see Swansea, you're getting to see Preston, you're getting to see where, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, mate. I mean, yeah.
Taking the different sites.
My son's called Niall. I named my boy after after Niall Quinn. So, yeah. Which his mom was none too wiser, you know. She's American. She was like, yeah, whatever, you know, it's all good. I mean, it's tough out here because they can't say it properly. They call him Niles. They put an S on the end. You know, they spell it like the river, and I'm like, you're killing us with this. You know, but
keep fighting the good fight, mate. And
you know.
you're part of the SAFC NASA branch. Tell us how you got involved with them.
I was in New Jersey and can't exactly remember what happened, but I think I went to a bar to watch Sunderland, and then there was a few lads in there, like Gav Frater and stuff, a few Sunderland boys who um just were like, listen, join the branch. And then obviously, listen, they're good lads as well. They are, we, I like a good moan at times, and some of them are a lot more positive than me. But hey, listen, they're good lads, and yeah, we're getting there. We're growing a bit, We've got a good little fan base in New York, New Jersey, PA and stuff. But we're getting there, and there's a big Canada branch as well. I've got to mention Canada because that Justin and that'll go mad if you don't mention Canada.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, he was on the
So,
telly yesterday, wasn't he? He was on the telly. He was on Paramount Plus for the pre-match.
He loves it, doesn't he?
He's a media whore, isn't he?
He loves it.
He was on yesterday with Chad. I think Chad Jarvis was on yesterday as well. And then there was Andrew and Michelle from Sunderland Till I Die.
Yeah,
they were on as well. So no, it was good stuff.
Well, it's good. I mean, like the club are excellent. Like we went out to San Antonio. We do the American preseason stuff, and the club look after we. They were really when we were in Texas and stuff. They were really good. They were really nice. And I remember a few years back when we were struggling under Moyes, and Martin Bain organised like meeting them in New York and all.
Yeah.
It was listen. It was nice enough. You know what I mean? They didn't have to, and it was a tough time that as well. So they do look after we, So credit to the club.
Yeah.
For that,
And you mentioned there you get back as often as you can. When's your next trip over? Have you planned it?
Do you know what? Right, I normally come over for Christmas, but I've got 4 kids, so it costs a fortune, man, when I come over. And then the missus wanted to go to Disney World. I've just came back, so I'm not getting over. I normally come over through the season, but I'm not coming over till July because I've got Oasis tickets.
Yeah.
So
in July. Oh. Yeah.
So I'm obviously there's no football. So what I might do is plan a little cheeky pre-season. Because I was going to go to Spain actually. I was going to go to Benidorm, but I'd just been to the Euros, in the June, and then I think the Benidorm pre-season was in July, and I thought she'll do a nut because I've been in Germany for 3 weeks. So if I just take off to Spain, there'll be hell on. So I swerved it, but. In July, I might do a cheeky little pre-season, if I'm around. So, yeah.
Well, just say to her, like, if she wants to go to Disney World, tell her we've got a lovely place called Beamish.
The museum.
Yeah, well, why not? It's a good place.
All right, I said, listen, I did say if we make the playoffs, I'm heading over. So yeah, that's non-negotiable. I'll be getting a flight straight into London, and yeah, happy days.
Yeah, because how much would it cost you to come over?
I mean, there's ways I can do it. Like at the minute now, it's about 1,500 a time, like just like a return. But there's an airport about an hour and 40 minutes away, right?
Yeah.
In upstate New York. It's actually called Stewart. It's called Stewart Airport. And it's like an old military base, and they do flights they fly from here to Reykjavik, and then Reykjavik into Stansted, and it's like 300 quid, 270 quid. It's a bit of a clot on because you've got to get into Iceland, but you're saving a fortune. You know what I mean? So I can just park there, leave my car, and just fly into Iceland and then fly into Stansted. So you can do it cheaper if you just want to go, BA or Virgin or whatever. You're looking at 1,500 a pop. It's a lot of money, man. So
and that's just for you. That's not for the family.
Well, that's just me. And then obviously yourself with kids, the class kids as adults.
Yeah.
So soon as kids get to 4 something now, they're adults on planes.
Yeah.
So you don't get any discounts, do you? So
Nah. Oh well, thanks for that, mate. Brilliant story.
Yeah, no problem.
Right then, Paul. Yesterday a 3-2 win. The last comeback I remember like that was the one against West Brom when Kevin Ball hooked one in. Remember that one?
Yeah, and there was one in was against Wolves maybe as well. I think in like the 90s at home maybe. But yeah, unbelievable. That second half was just amazing. I got to say, when we went 2-0 down, didn't see it coming at all. We'd started pretty sloppily. They were just dominating possession. Having said that, the 2 goals we conceded, it wasn't like they were carving us open all the time, but the 2 really sloppy goals. One brilliant free kick, but came from, I think it was Job, gave the ball away. And then he made the foul. Patterson probably should have come and got the first one. But it just felt like we weren't really in the game. And then just the second half was just absolutely absolutely brilliant, like a different team. And we went, and it was just, and I couldn't believe it when we went ahead. Then you're thinking at that point, right, now we're going to be under the cosh for the rest of the match. Is it always the case? Like when are we 1-0 up? When are we winning by a goal away from home? And it's not just nail biting every, pumping the ball out and then defending. But it wasn't. We just were in complete control all the way to the final whistle.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Well, like you said there, we started sloppily. I watched the highlights again. I watched the full 90 this morning, and I don't think we started that badly. Like the first 5 minutes, I think I think it was like pretty 50-50, but then it was just that ball that they put in, and then Ballard jumped up for the header. But my question is like, okay, we can blame Patterson for not coming out to claim it, but where was the defense? Where was the rest of the defense? Because there was a massive gap, and there was a guy on his own, and he had like a free shot. So that was my question. And then obviously the second goal.
I think it was. Might have been Job. I think I couldn't, but yeah, I think part of it was as soon as it went up in the air, then they were just waiting for Patterson to get it. You could see like Sirkin put his arm out as if to say, right, that's it, keeper's going to get it.
Yeah.
But to give Patterson credit, like after a few minutes after that, he did a brilliant save down to his left, I think it was, tip one around the post.
Yeah.
That could easily have gone in. That was a great save. And if he'd conceded, if he'd come and caught the first one and then let that second one in, you wouldn't really be criticising him. But as it turns out, because he kind of didn't come for the first one, he's getting a bit of stick. But the save after it was brilliant.
Yeah. And Sean, after 17 minutes, then we went 2-0 down. And I thought that was kind of like a bit unfair, wasn't it? Because I don't think we really deserved that. As Paul said, they didn't carve us open. It was just the first one was like a lack of concentration, and the second one from a class free kick.
Do you know, like you say, like we didn't start the game badly. Well, obviously, scoreline says we did, but it's individual mistakes, and they're going to make them. And what's interesting is, what I fancied were before this game, because I thought we know Swansea play football, and I think we're going to get chances. Even a 2-0, man, you're thinking, like, teams normally sit back and they normally time waste and they normally got that low block and we struggle to break them down. These play football, don't they? And I just thought before the game it's going to play into our hands because they're going to try and get out with, and we're going to hit them on the break and we'll hurt them. And I mean, I wouldn't even say they were good second. I just thought up until 70 minutes, I thought Sunderland turned it. Like from 70 minutes onwards, we got it going a bit, and because even the first 20 minutes of the first half, scoring in the first half was massive, wasn't it? When you're 2-0 down, like you're just thinking, get a goal before half time, and people talk about Neil's goal and Job's goal. I think Ballard's goal is really important, and you're getting that before half time and you're going in thinking, all right, okay. Because we'd obviously been there against Coventry when we threw that away, a 2-goal lead. So it can happen, especially when you get one pretty early. So just the spirit of the boys was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they never give up, which is all you ask. You know?
And that's my next point is that, Paul, is that we went 2-0 down and heads didn't drop. Like they were still playing with the normal way, with confidence, trying to get back in the game. I think in previous seasons, you could argue that as soon as we go behind, the heads would drop. But now, I think these young lads, they've got a lot of motivation, a lot of confidence, and that they don't panic. And I don't think Lebris panics as well, does he not?
Yeah, totally. You can see it earlier in the other games in the season as well, where we kind of just, even when we've gone behind, we've just kind of stayed in the game. And like Sean was saying about how obviously they're young and they'll make mistakes, but what you want is to see them carry on playing the same way and being confident. And so you had Job, who gave away the free kick for their goal. Then he's gone and scored at the end. You got Patterson, who I mentioned, made a mistake and then pulled off a brilliant save. Ballard actually also wasn't having a great game first half. By his standards, gave the ball away a couple of times, and then there's brilliant header by him as well. So yeah, it's like they just keep going, and they've obviously got the quality. So yeah, with the attitude to keep going, then they come good.
Yeah, I mean, the first half, Sean, I think there was like a lack of urgency, wasn't there, going forward?
Yeah.
And you could see in the second half immediately that he must have got into them and he said, like, listen, we need to get the ball forward a bit faster, look a bit more active. And I think the second half, we did have that urgency, didn't we?
Do you know, it's funny because he's like, you can't really call, Lebris up to now because, look, we're in a great position, we are. But I do think my one critic of him is he's a bit stubborn, right?
Yeah.
I do. I think he's often second to make the changes. He often waits a bit too late, and it obviously when you're winning games, it doesn't get highlight. Of course, it doesn't because you're winning. But like, I just think, like you said, I think he's got into them. He's got them playing quick, and it was brave because he could have easily just went right. We'll get our Sean. We'll do this. And he's just stuck with it. And his only real change was 09. And
Yep.
when he come off a circuit, I'm thinking, what's he doing putting 09 at left? Why is he going at left back? Like, but it worked. It did. So I thought it was instant impact. And listen, we're a better team when 09's on the pitch. We are. Like, I don't know what you boys think, but like, say I've had this debate for years now where I've said, oh, you can't get promoted with him at centre back. He's not. I tell you what, though, he's been unbelievable this season. He has, and we've been waiting to get Metham and Ballard as a partnership, haven't we? Right, and we have been like, well, when Metham come in, you think, I can't wait to see him alongside Ballard, but you kind of drop 09.
No.
And you just, I'm sorry, I've changed my mind completely on him because I think he's had a brilliant season and he's getting better every time he plays and he's a leader. So not sure what you boys think, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that 09, he reads the game very well. He's learnt the position very well.
Yeah.
With the ball at his feet, he's much better with the ball at his feet than Mepham and Ballard. But obviously, Ballard and Mepham, I think, I'd have that extra ability, like clearing the ball, heading the ball, because they're a bit stronger, a bit taller.
Bigger,
the bigger. But no, I think it's a very difficult decision for Lebris, isn't it, to move it forward? Paul, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'd have. It's a tough one. I would probably have 09 first choice, even though Metham has been absolutely phenomenal. And like Ballard scored a brilliant goal, and I'm a massive fan, and he would probably be the third choice, which is unbelievable, really. Like last year, to think that Ballard wouldn't be be a third choice centre back is just ridiculous. But yeah, I'd also probably have 09 even for first choice, just because he just lifts the team as well.
Yeah, and I think the change for Sirkin, I think that was more probably down to Sirkin being on a yellow card.
Yeah.
And I think he said, like, listen, I've got Elise here on the bench, I've got 09. Who's going to give me that bit of quality going forward or with a pass? And I think he said, okay, listen, Elise is athletic, but he's not great at like getting balls in the box. But 09, he's got that ability with his left foot to ping a ball from left to right. And I think, yeah, it didn't make sense, but later it did make sense, didn't it?
Well, do you know, I was saying to my mate at half time, like obviously when we're 2-1 down, I'm saying just go into a back three and just go with two up top. Like he won't change it. And I was having a bit of a moan saying, just get 09, Metham and Ballard in a back three, use the wing backs and just put my end there in Isidore central because nothing's really happening down the left. And listen, it just shows, doesn't it, that what do I know? So because it worked, so fair play to him.
Yeah, and then obviously we've talked about before the goal on 28 minutes. Dan Ballard, I think was it Trey Hume who put the ball in?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Listen, for me, Trey Hume is like the unsung hero this season because I think like nobody kind of notices him. He's just like a stable 7 or 8 every game, isn't he? And I thought his balls have been fantastic, and we've been crying out for deliveries like that for one of our tall lads to get on the end of it. Paul, I don't know what you think about Hume's season so far.
Yeah, rock solid. I mean, he's like a fan favorite just because of the tackles. If there's someone coming into the touchline to fly in, you're hoping it's him because he's brilliant for clearing everything. So yeah, he's had like you say, he's just really solid. I guess like looking back, someone like, I don't know, like Bardsley or someone like, he's just consistent performer. So yeah, it's good to get the assist. Like you, I thought it was a good cross, but Ballard's done so well to like jump and jump forward and get his head on it. Where it was brilliant. The defender didn't even get close to it. Just timed the jump perfectly to get there first and guide it in.
Well, they've had that combination quite a few times, haven't they, for Northern Ireland? Like Ballard scored a few goals from Hume's free kicks. So I think, listen, we need to do that more often. Right then, Sean, the second half, we got more urgency. And then, what was it, on the 73rd minute, brilliant play from Job to win the ball back, played it to Dan Neil, drove forward, And as your mate Chad Jarvis likes to call him, a wonderful piss missile into the top corner.
Do you know, I'm delighted for because Dan Neil, right? Look, he gets a bit of stick, man. He does, and I think, do you know what? He was brilliant against Bristol City. I was reading comments, man, saying, "Oh, drop Dan Neil." I'm like, he was the best player against Bristol City. I thought he was, and he's asked to play a bit deeper, right? Which I think he's better on the edge of the box, playing higher. I do. I think because he's got a goal in him. He's got a, he's creative. He can, but he's playing a lot deeper. And when it was a real captain's performance, I thought yesterday. I really do. I think even against Bristol, he's been excellent the last few games. And look, he's a Sunderland boy, and it's what we want to see. And like you say, it was a brilliant strike. And I heard he was a bit under the weather as well. So to pull that out the bag as well like that, I mean, yeah, it's pretty special,
Yeah.
So
and Paul, I mean, earlier in the season, you could argue that Dan Neil wasn't playing very well in this new role, but probably due to not being fully adapted to it, I think. But now he's getting used to the role, isn't he? And as he said, like the last 3 games, he's probably been the best player on the pitch for us.
Yeah. I love his like the way he threads the balls forward. He plays these like 30, 40 yard passes like right along the deck. Like threads them into Isidore. Brilliant. One thing I'd say about the Sunderland's shooting and is that yesterday we scored 3 goals from 13 shots, which is, and this has been coming because the 4 games before that I looked at the stats and we scored 3 goals from 80 shots in the 4 games before yesterday. So we'd been creating chances, but just terrible shooting, from the missing chances, but also just terrible shots from outside the box. But our general plays deserved better results than we've had in the last couple of months. And yesterday was just on one of the days where those long ranger goes in, and we get the 3 points. So I think it's been coming that we some goals.
I agree. Paul. I think look, it's real credit to the recruitment this season. Well, in general, because listen, I was very vocal at the start of the season saying, "Oh, it's a disgrace. They're not wanting to spend anything." Do you know something though? Like, if you look now, man, we started the season with Jack Clark on the left. He went. Mundell come in. When I'd seen Mundell previously, I thought, "Oh, no, he's not ready." He's been brilliant. He got injured. Watson come in. Now we're on to plan, whatever on the left, and it just shows. Like you were talking about Hume earlier, I think we've got the best 4 fullbacks in the league. When you look at like Hume and Sirkin, and then Huggins and Elise, they'd get any team in that league by a mile. They would. I think Sirkin's a Premier League left back. He is. I think he's quality. Hume's fantastic, and just the depth. I think it's a real credit to the fact that we can have injuries and suspensions and we're still on the front foot in games. It's
you mentioned plan C or whatever it is on the left. Mayenda looked pretty sharp yesterday.
Well, he does, and it's tough for him as well because he's a forward, isn't he? And you think he is playing out of position, and you're just thinking, well, put Roberts there, he's left-footed and stuff. But look, we have options, and it's working. It is so. It's credit to him for his coaching because they look organised, and then just to the recruitment in general because it's working, isn't it, up to now? So fair play.
Yeah, you mentioned there, Paul, Mayenda. I thought he was quite poor yesterday. I thought, listen, he always looks like he could do something with his explosive pace, but yesterday I thought he was ineffective. His first touch was quite poor.
It was a bit of a Duncan Watmore kind of performance. Where some bursts of pace, and he never really had the ball fully under control. But I thought, especially in the second half, he was a bit unlucky not to get a goal. I thought there was a couple of times where he got it under control and he beat a player. He beat players a few times.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like overall it was maybe a bit rusty, but
he had those 2 chances on his left foot, didn't he, at the end of the game? But then just before that, I think you remember he skied one with his right foot, didn't he? Like he picked up the ball outside on the left, and and I was like, that pretty much summed up his performance to me yesterday. It wasn't his best game, but I'm not writing him off. But I just think
the thing is because you've just watched like the 90 minutes, but I just remember the good moments from yesterday.
And listen, it wasn't the best yesterday, Paddy Roberts didn't either have the best of games, but what I like about Paddy Roberts, I've said this before, is that he never gives up. He'll fail, but he'll go again. He'll fail. And I think with Paddy Roberts, what you do is that you get a player who won't make a risky pass to lose possession. I think he'll always like try and safety first, or if he knows he can beat a man. And I think having that experience in the team is vital. I don't think Mayenda's got that yet. I think Mayenda's a bit raw and he loses possession in bad places. But I think Roberts, although he doesn't affect games always, I think he's got that experience and it helps us.
He's also been unlucky that some of the finishing around it. I mean, some of his shooting's not been great, but some of the other finishing has been pretty poor. So when he gets held against him, that he doesn't have that many assists. But there's been a few games recently where he's put it on a plate for players where you think that they can't miss, and then they miss, and then people say, "Oh, Roberts, he doesn't get any assists." But I think he's created more chances than his assist count would imply.
He's a very good footballer, man, isn't he? And I think I say this all the time because I've been bashing him a little bit lately. And listen, I stand up and admit it when I'm wrong or whatever. But if he had an end product, he wouldn't be at Sunderland. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful because he's got great feet. He really has got good feet. He carries the ball. I think he does what no one else in that squad can do. But I just think he's got no end product. Look, hence the fact that I think he scored 1 last season. He scored 2 up and out. Like, he just doesn't score enough goals. He hasn't got double figures in his whole career. But he'll skin you alive. And I think even if you look at yesterday, we said he was quiet. You know what? He won the free kick that let the Ballards go.
Yeah.
Because obviously he got past the kid and it was a foul. And then I think it was the third goal when he lays it up to Rig who puts it. So he's had a hand in 2 out of 3 of the goals. So you think, he's a big part of that team. He is, and if you get him in the final third in behind, then people can't really live with him, at this level. So I just wish he'd get a few more goals. Like I say, if he got even if 3 or 4 more goals, I think he'd really be a top player. I think so. One thing missing from his game is the lack of goals.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. And as you mentioned there, that third goal then from Job, I think it was nice play from Job, wasn't it? Because that's what we want to see from Job. Yeah. Getting into the box at the last minute, arriving onto the end. Because a lot of the times when we get into that position, we always pull it back and there's no one there. And this time, Job he timed the run perfectly and he got on the end of it and he thought, brilliant.
Yeah,
it was one of those. It was one of those brilliant ones where from when Rig crossed it to when Job got on the end of it, it felt forever.
Yeah,
you could just see the ball comes in. You could see Job like running towards it, and it was brilliant. He was thinking, "Go on, get in there," and then he met it, hit the back of the net.
Because he showed his strength. He showed his strength as well, hasn't he? Because he's a powerful boy, man, and just the way. Because I think there's a centre, there's a defender, trying to obviously, and he's outmuscled him and got on the end of it. And I just think, but even Riggy, man, like, a few of the boys were saying, "Oh, he needs to do a bit more." I mean, look, it's his first season, and if you remember, like Job last season, Job looked wrecked up at Christmas last season. He did. He looked flogged, and this Rig's going to be the same. He's going to be and it's the one area where I was talking about depth earlier. It's the one area we've struggled because obviously Alan Brown's injured and that what's he called, Samir or
Salis, yeah.
Yes. Well, the lad we signed from Lens, I don't know when he's back. So,
a few weeks, apparently.
And it's going to take him. It'll take him 3 weeks to get up. So we're looking at January before really we can reshape it and rechange it in midfield. And Riggy and stuff are going to drop off, aren't they? Because they're young kids. So we've just got to be patient.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, Bellingham, it's like quite a few players have improved from last season to this one, but for Job, it's been unbelievable. I remember like early last season where even when he was playing okay, one of his issues seemed to be stamina. He seemed to tire, but now he's just so strong and he's just all over the pitch, covers so much ground, and then even at the end, he's kind of going on these runs and holding off players. He's just looking like an all-round quality player.
He seems to have more time on the ball than anyone else, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does. Like people go, "Oh, he keeps a hold of it." He seems to just have because you tell your midfielders obviously no more than 2 or 3 touches, move it quick, and he just seems to have 3, 4, and he gets away with having more touches a lot of the time. And you think, because of his strength and his power. So listen, he's having a brilliant season, isn't he? He really is.
No, I like it when he gets the ball and he holds his players off and he swivels, turns, and he gets an attack. I think he's brilliant at that.
Yeah.
But it is a bit of a concern, I think, because with all these games coming up over the Christmas period, that we've only got really Rig, Job, and Neil.
Yeah, it is. That's the one thing. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because in every other position, we've got options, haven't we?
Yep.
You know, we really do. And the centre mid, we haven't, because he's obviously, look, what's interesting is, like, a French manager comes in and pies off all the French boys, doesn't he? Like, he got rid of Ekwa, he's not having Aushi, he's not having Bar, he's just not having it, is he?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's crazy because obviously our coach, and not at that level, but I just mean, if I got a job in France and there was 3 or 4 English boys in there, I'd gravitate towards the English boys. Of course, it's what you know, and he's just pied them right off, hasn't he? So you just think he's got no. I don't know whether he's got no faith in them, whether they're not doing it in training. I don't know, but he just
work rate.
He's not having it.
Work rate, maybe they're not putting enough effort in the training ground.
Yeah, could be that. I mean, because Ekwa was a big one. I don't know what you boys think. Like, I had this chat the other day on the NASA group, and I said, I think that was the one we got wrong, letting Ekwa go, because he had a bit of power and a bit of pit, you know, and he was okay at times. He popped up with a goal, and I just thought, like, around now when we're struggling, you could have brought him on to do a job and stuff, you know, like that Millwall game where we didn't have anyone. He would have been perfect, and I just think it's maybe the one we got wrong. I mean, not sure what you boys think, but
I think like if Salis hadn't got injured when he came, I think we wouldn't be talking about this. But I think because he got injured and we haven't had that backup option, I think that's why Ekwa gets talked about. And I think it is one of those. I mean, me and Paul were in Spain for the pre-season, and Ekwa played a match, didn't he? I think he went off one of the matches, didn't he? I think he came on as sub, and then he went off injured. So in his body language it didn't look right. He looked a bit off, didn't he, Paul?
Yeah, and he was kind of gone in the opposite direction to some of the other players. You see, when he kind of had a really good spell. I think he started off pretty badly. Then looked really good for quite a long run. And then he seemed to tail off. So yeah, like now when we're short of depth in that position, then I'm sure, like in hindsight, it would have been better maybe to have kept him in the squad. But yeah, like you say, Lee, it was a bit unlucky with Salis Samed getting injured. And when's Brown back?
After Christmas, I think.
3 weeks, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at our injury list now, and apparently after Christmas or around Christmas time, we're looking at Sealt coming back, Salis, Brown, Paveda, Mundell, Watson, Abdullahi, Huggins. Maybe it's longer, I think. But yeah, and then like looking at the January transfer window, Sean, it's obvious that Aushish, Bar, Roosen, and Bennett are probably going to get shipped out.
Yeah, you would think.
So, I mean, we do need replacements, don't we? We can't be surely relying on these players coming back from injury to make up the squad.
No, I think you're right. I think we need a midfielder. We do, and maybe a bit of cover on the left and another forward. Because at the back, look, at the back we're fine. We've got 4 more than capable centre backs. Because even Elise can play there, and like you say, Jensen Selt's back or Sealt. And when I've seen him, I know it's hard to judge him at centre back because when he did play, he was at right back, wasn't he? You know, but he's a big, powerful boy. And look, you know, so there's 5 decent centre backs. Full backs were fine. I think we just need that 1 or 2 bit of fresh legs in the middle of the pitch. And you know, I'm hoping that Paveda will stay fit as well. I know, because then obviously someone to push Roberts as well. You know, because we've got a bit of cover on the left, haven't we? We've got Mundell, we've got, but on the right, it's only really Roberts, isn't it? If you think, like, you know, because obviously Paveda hasn't been around, so maybe, I don't know. I mean, we only need 2 or 3
striker as well. When's Abdullahi back? Because I mean,
apparently like around New Year, something like that.
Yeah, because hopefully, I mean, maybe he'll fill this gap. But that would be one of my concerns. That if anything happens to Issa, though, then we're not the same team. Like even yesterday, he didn't score, but he like stretches the game. He's got a good first touch. He's really quick. And And he's been a bit unlucky the last few games where he hasn't. He could have. It was what was it against Bristol City? He missed a good chance where he made like a good connection but missed. But I thought that was just a bit unlucky. But that would be my worry. That if we lost him, then we wouldn't be the same threat.
It's. I don't even. I know that the sea only as good as your forwards, but look, we've got like. I can't remember the last time we had 4 forwards because you boys know, like the last few windows we've been good. Just saying just one striker will do. Now we've got Mayenda, we've got Connolly, Connolly hasn't really been given a chance, has he? He scored at Millwall. He looks a bit lightweight and stuff, but we don't know what he can do. So, Tom Watson could probably play there. I mean, I don't know if a forward's even priority. I think for me it'd be maybe a midfield, but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess a lot depends on Connolly, and he looked the last couple of games. I thought he's been a little bit disappointing because he came in, he got a good goal, and then since then it seems like he hasn't really kicked on. But yeah, it's still early days. He could turn out to be good cover.
Yeah, because if this young lad, is it Abdelini I mean, he could come in around Christmas. He could bang in a couple, and you think, all right, okay, there's another option. And I think he's 6'2", 6'3" as well, isn't he? He's a big boy. Yeah. So you think, well, okay, there's maybe another option. So then are they going to then go, well, we've got 4, capable enough forward? I don't know. I don't think they'll bring one in, but
Yeah, well, lads, we've got a few minutes left. So before we finish, we've got the next game against Norwich next Saturday at the Stadium of Light. Norwich are currently in 12th. Well, they might be high because they're winning right now against Burnley 1-0. They're doing us a favour. They're doing us a favour. Their form isn't the best, because they've won 2 in their last 11. I think they've got 2 wins in their last 10, 4 defeats, 4 draws.
These are the games Sunderland normally lose.
Yeah, and they've only won 2 away from home this season. They've got that lad Borja Sainz, who's like the Basque lad. He's from Bilbao. He's banged in 15 goals, but they're still in 15th place. So it's one of those banana skin games, isn't it? Like we could slip up, whereas we shouldn't. So lads, last minute, Sean, a prediction for next Saturday, please.
Listen, we're at home. We'll look good at home. We'll get on the front foot. We'll win 2-1. I think we will.
All right, Paul.
1-0 or 2-0. 1-0.
1-0. I'm going to be mildly optimistic and go for a 3-1 win.
Oof,
anyway,
go on,
yeah, go on. Don't put a bet on that. Right, lads, thanks for your time today. It's been a great pleasure as always. Paul, Sean, great to have you on first time. Love to have you on again in the future. You. And we'll see you again soon. How are the lads?
Right, have a nice Christmas, boys.
Merry Christmas.
Likewise. Cheers, lads.
Hello there. My name is Anthony Stevenson. I'm originally from Town and Farm in Sunderland. I now live in Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. I've been supporting the lads for almost 40 years. How are the lads?